Good Wednesday morning, foggers. I hope everybody had a good Tuesday, back to work after the long weekend. I know usually it kind of gets people a little bit to get going and back engaged and focused. So in dealing with talking to some of the officers I've been talking to recently, we always talk about stigma when it comes to mental health and what is really stigma, right? My definition, again, I'm nobody, I'm nothing, I'm not a professional, I'm not walking Webster's dictionary. But the stigma that I see that is prevalent in our professions and in our culture, in our community, people across the board, is what are other people gonna think, right? And I was literally talking to somebody yesterday who is in a struggle, in a battle, in a bad place, right? And through professionals that he sees, along with just talking with myself, a peer, and somebody who's been where he's at, throwing things, bouncing things around, and understanding that a lot of times people that are in this position feel like their problems are unique to them, right? So stigma is not only what other people think, or you may think that other people may think about you, but it's just yourself, what you think about yourself and how you are perceiving the storm that you're in, right? And we get to, his police car is parked in the driveway, and I'm like, listen, that green and white or that black and white police car doesn't define who you are. That is not your identity. The departments do a great job, especially from the academy, and especially if you're young and don't have a lot of life experience, in leading you to believe that if this job tomorrow you get suspended, fired, arrested, you quit, whatever it may be, laid off, right? That your life is over. That is not your identity. You weren't born with a blue gown or a brown gown, and your life will continue. The only thing that matters is looking at your son's eyes, your daughter's eyes, dancing in her wedding, right? Your spouse, your husband, your significant other, coming home to people that love you, that are gonna be with you, whether you work at Home Depot or you're in a SWAT truck, okay? We have to stop believing these lies. The other thing was, man, what are people at work gonna think? Who gives a shit? I'm gonna tell you right now, we're so real big on the thin blue line and the thin blue line. And yes, there are people in our profession that are good, solid friends, right? And friends are friends in good and in bad, through thick and thin, they're there, right? And there are people in our lives that are like that. I don't want to paint this with a broad brush, but our thin blue line, civilians look at that and they hear that and they think that there's this huge conspiracy amongst police, right? And I'm using police now, even though this happens in all first responders. But, there's this huge conspiracy, like we're a mafia, right? Like we have, when we take the stand in a jury trial, we are all, conspiring to lie, to screw over people, or we are all on the same line. Let me break it to you. The thin blue line is really not a thin blue line, okay? And again, this is not disrespect. This might be taboo for people, but let me explain. When officers are murdered, yes, we come together, the thin blue line, the flag is beautiful, it's great. I understand that. And we come together because that is the only time that as law enforcement, we think together and alike. We're hurt. We are feeling anger and all the feelings that go through us when an officer gets killed throughout the country, because we're out there with the same mission of enforcing laws and protecting the weak, right? And getting rid of evil. So when an officer gets killed, thin blue line across the board. But yet every day we go to work, and like I tell a friend of mine, I go, leave your wife at a function and go to the bathroom or go somewhere and see how many guys are hitting on your wife. Right? We had a chat log down here, and I forgot the name of it, but the chat log was all officers from different departments that would log on every day and just talk shit about people in the department, to the point that they went to court and they had to get it shut down. And I don't know if it started up under some other name, but it was horrific. There was talk about internal investigations. There was talk about wives. There was talking about children. Everything was free game. And those are our own people. That's my thin blue line. You know what a thin blue line is? When you and I get dispatched to a call, shit goes sideways, and if I rat you out or you rat me out, we go to jail. We get indicted. That's the thin blue line. And again, it's not a broad brush. It's not everybody. We have a huge brotherhood and people that know what's important. But don't sit there and tell me I'm going to care exactly what everybody thinks about me, because they're going to think bad about you regardless. It just is what it is. It's like every other profession. You go to you're a secretary, you're a teacher. I don't like that girl. I don't like this guy. I don't believe in how they work. It's the same thing in our profession times 1,000 because of the toxicity, the stress, the acute stress that's there, the PTSD, the trauma. And again, like I told you, when you work around shit, you get shit all over you. But I always hear like, I can't admit this, I can't admit that. And what I told this officer was, the people that are going to judge you the hardest, that are smiling and laughing at you and talking shit about you, are the same ones that go to their house and lock themselves behind a door and cry like we do and are drinking themselves to death, but yet they come out and they portray like everything's fine. We've got to get past that. When I tell you that we have to be together, we have to be together. And the machine and the departments understand. And again, this is not all departments. There are some stand-up people, sheriffs and chiefs. So it's not a broad brush. So don't get this as a message of hating. It's never about breaking down. It's building up. But I am always going to be honest with you. And if I'm wrong, you write to me and tell me I'm full of shit. And if I am, I'll take it. But everything that I've mentioned to you here, I have seen firsthand. Okay? I've seen it. So we need to get together. This is not about, we're not together and we can't. Yes, we can. There's a tide turning right now in our country. People are realizing that we have had several years of smoke and mirrors, okay? And why not ride the wave? Get on your board and ride the wave with everybody. Let's ride it the other way. Let's be better. We're still getting gunned down in this country. I don't even know the figures anymore. I lost count. I think it's like every time you turn on the news, there's 2 officers somewhere in the country that were killed, that are being gunned down, 3, 4 at a time. Right? We have more and more suicide. And I definitely know about the addictions because I deal with them. I get phone calls and I meet with people and their families all the time. We're drinking ourselves to death. Okay? And yet we have plenty of time to talk shit about each other. Okay? We're pulling over officers, and I'm not telling you this is not a conversation about who's above the law and nobody's above the law. And this is not about ethics. This is just for you to think about something. When I came across officers, even if they were super horrifically bad, I go, hey man, you're driving like an asshole, man. Okay? And you put me in a bad position with everybody looking at me. So that's why I stopped you. Have a nice day. But that's my decision. One of the most powerful tools that we're given in law enforcement, and we're taught that at an early age, is discretion. There's some cases we don't have discretion. And we feel bad for those officers. And we should never be happy about arresting another officer. But if it is what it is, that's it. It was his decision or her decision. I've always told you we have to be responsible for our actions, right? I have caught officers in some very compromising positions, and if I was able to, right, not putting my job on the line, I took care of it and I let it go and I gave them some good advice and move on. So what I'm trying to tell you is this brotherhood that we claim to have, we don't. But guess what? We can. And I'm calling on everybody, police, fire, everybody. You know who I'm grateful for when I used to stop them? Nurses and doctors. You think I want to be an asshole to them? Hey man, have a nice day. Thank you for everything you do. Because it's tomorrow you're going to be the one with a gunshot wound on their table. And that's how life is. The world is fucking tiny. So the person you step on today is the person you need tomorrow. All right? So this is a call to be better. Don't believe the lies for good and bad. Brotherhood and blue line and all this stuff when we're treating each other like shit. Your partner's wife should be your sister, right? And your partner's husband should be your brother. And again, I know things happen and all that. That's not what I'm talking about. But there shouldn't be an intention to screw somebody over in your same profession because of negativity and toxicity and things that happen in our past and things that we think define us. No, we got to be better. The unions that are on here, they follow. They're great people. We need to do a better job at promoting us together, not just handing out this fluff and saying, oh no, we just got to be better. No, we have to work at getting better. We're going to get a new sheriff at some point soon, and there's going to be a lot of change. And some of it might be some rough waters to navigate. There's a lot of cleaning up. Whoever it is that gets elected, there's a lot of cleaning up to do, because right now, the steering wheel, they let go, and that outboard engine is just running in circles. Okay? I'm just calling it like it is. All right? We're running amok. I get the phone calls. I see it, right? We're running amok. Discipline is the backbone of a lot of shit. In healing, in mental health, right? In everything we do. We have to be very disciplined and focused in everything we do. And I'm just telling you, based on experience, a lot of the things that we've discussed and a lot of things that I see. And I talk to people all the time. So this is a call to get better. My jiu-jitsu guys that are out there, and there's a lot of you following me, listen, you guys, I think, are a key component to this department and this profession. Why? People need to feel more positive about themselves, not only mentally, but physically, and be positive about your capabilities. When you get to the scene, being able to be confident about what you can do and carry out the mission is important. And I hope that the person that gets elected as sheriff sees all these things, and I think that they will. All right? The front runners in this race, they're both good people. And I think that we're heading for better times, but we got to put the work in, man. Things don't just come to us. We got to put the work in. With that, I hope I gave you a little bit to think about, and it's not a shot at anybody. We don't break down, we build up. But we've got to be honest with ourselves, and we have to be better for ourselves and be more together. Anytime I come across an officer, and I have come across officers in really fucked up situations, I give them back their ID and I go, have a nice day. And again, that's not being above the law. That is my discretion. And I take it with me, and if I got to eat it, I eat it. And it's happened before. But that's my call. So you make the right call, whatever it is that you feel is right. I thank you for your service. Be careful out there. Hydrate, meal prep, push some weight, walk. Fill your voids in your life with positive things, not negative things. And with that, I say thank you. And if God allows me, I'll be back tomorrow. God bless you guys. 3 a.m. Fog.